let's start with the flowers, one of the most interesting parts of a plant which we all love very much. So what exactly is a flower? A flower is a condensed shoot of the apical meristem of Angiosperms, and this shoot is specialized for sexual reproduction. So that is the key points about a flower. So it's coming from the apical meristem. It's the shoot of the apical meristem. And another point, flowers are specialized reproductive organs of angiosperms. So it's not about so it's not about gymnosperms. So flowers belong to angiosperms. So that's a key point. So once again, looking at the key points, so it's apical meristem, angiosperms, and sexual reproduction. Let's go on to the second point. So what is a bract? Now you can have the stem, and there's a greenish structure which looks like a leaf, but it's not a leaf, and from the axil of which the flowers may arise. So a leaf-like structure, the axil of which flowers may arise, is what is called a bract. So the key point here is that bract is not a leaf. It's a leaf-like structure, which basically means it's greenish in color. So that's a key point. So don't mistake bracts for a part of a flower. So that's the key point. Now let's look at the next point. That is the pedicel. So you have a flower, and so what is a pedicel? The pedicel is the stalk of a flower. It means that so a pedicel is the stalk of a flower. Basically means it's the part of the flower which connects the flower to the plant body. So that's what is called a pedicel. And the important thing is that it's the thing which it's the part of the plant body which connects the flower to the the stem of the plant. So, and just below the flower we have something called the bracteole. So next point is what is a bracteole? Going on to the next point. So what is a bracteole? A bracteole is a leaf-like structure at the tip of the pedicel. So you can see that bracteole is something at the base of the flower. In fact, at the base of the thalamus. And so it's a leaf-like structure at the tip of the pedicel. And naturally, in most cases, bracteoles would be green in color. Now we are going to the parts of the flower proper. The important parts of the flower, and you can see that after the pedicel, there's a bulbous, a kind of flattened out portion, and that portion is what is called the thalamus. So it's on the thalamus we have all the other parts of the flower. So all the parts of the flower in a way are arranged on the thalamus. So it's a bulbous flattened part on which all the floral parts are arranged. So you can consider the thalamus as the tip of the pedicel. That is the tip of the flower stalk, and it's usually quite flattened, and you can see the other flower parts on it. Now let's go on to look at the important parts of a standard flower. Standard flower in the sense that a flower in which all the floral parts are present. So we are beginning with the thalamus and drawing each part. drawing may not be that perfect, but here what we are looking at is to understand the key parts, understand the key points as far as a standard flower is considered. And even though except the petals, all other parts are colored green here, it may not be the case. There are a huge variety of manner in which flowers develop. So this is a typical diagram of a standard flower, and let's look at each part. So we of course the first part is the pedicel, that is the stalk of the flower. So we begin with the pedicel, that is the stalk of the flower. Then we go on to thalamus, that's a part on which the floral organs are arranged. Then we have the sepals, of course, most of which are usually greenish. Then the petal, which is the most colored and the most attractive part of the flower. We have the ovary and the ovule, which is the essential female reproductive organs of the flower. Then from the ovary, ovule, there's a tube-like extension which is called a style, and on the top of the style is a stigma. And of course we have the stamens and the pistil. Now, flower pots can be divided on the basis of particular criteria, and here we are looking at how such divisions can be done. So the first division is essential floral pods and non-essential floral pods. Essential basically means that those floral pods which are important for reproduction, important for sexual reproduction, and as far as that is concerned, there are two parts, that is the stamens, which is the microsporophyll, and the carpels, which are the megasporophylls. So these two, the stamens and the carpels, are the essential floral pods because they are absolutely necessary for sexual reproduction plants. And the non-essential parts are of course the sepals, usually green, and the petals, which are the colored part, and that is the part which makes flowers attractive to us. So stamens, carpel, reproductive; sepals, petals, non-reproductive. Now we are looking at another criteria by which flowers are divided into, and this is based on the presence of a particular sex organ, in the sense that the male and the female sex organ. So first we are dealing with the flowers, which is something called the complete flower and the incomplete flower. Of course, complete, the wording itself indicates the fact. Complete means all the four important floral parts are present, that is stamen, carpel, sepal, and petal. Naturally, incomplete means that if any of these floral parts, that if either stamen, carpel, sepal, and petal, if any of these floral parts are absent, the flower is incomplete. Now we are going on to another very important manner on which the flowers are divided. So the flowers, or the division of flowers, which is based on the presence of the sex organs. And this is very important as far as the examination point of view is concerned. And the first is, of course, the perfect. It's also called bisexual or hermaphrodite, and also called intersexual. Basically, it means that the bisexual word indicates what we are looking at. It basically means that both the male and female sex organs are present. So bisexual flowers, or perfect flowers, or hermaphroditic flowers basically means the male and female sex organs are present. The second division is unisexual, in the sense that uni means one, sexual means a particular type of sex. So it basically means either the male or the female organ is present. So both organs are not present in such flowers. So either the male or female. If only the male is present, we call it stamenate. If only the female is present, we call it pistillate. So that's the second division, that is the unisexual. The third is very interesting. It's called a neuter flower. Basically means that none of the, both male and the female sex organs are not present. So it's something like a sterile flower. So that's the meaning of neuter. Now let's look at another interesting division, which is based on the presence of the unisexual flowers. Now we know that unisexual flowers basically means a flower with a particular sex organ, that is either a male or female sex organ. So based on that kind of flowers, how can we divide plants? That's what we are looking at here. So the first one is monoecious. It basically monoecious basically means that the flowers are unisexual. It means that either female or male. But the interesting thing is that both the male and female flowers are present in the same plant. So not the point. The plant has both the male and female flowers. That is, the plant has both the kind of unisexual flowers. So that is the important point as far as monoecious plants are concerned. Of course, that basically means that we have the second kind, that is the dioecious. Dioecious basically means that in a plant, either the female or the male unisexual flower is present. So it basically indicates that both the unisexual flowers, that's both the female and male, is not present. So either male or female flower is present, and such plants are called dioecious plants. Now there is a very interesting case here, which is called the Polygamists. So what is the meaning of Polygamists? It basically means that there are a few plants in which all the three types of flowers are present. What does that mean? Now we just looked at three types of flowers, that is bisexual, unisexual, and neutral or sterile flowers. And what if the same plant, what if the same tree contains all the three types of flowers? So such plants are called polygamous. So which means that all the three, that is bisexual, unisexual, and neuter flowers are found in the same plant. That's the meaning of polygamous. Now going on to another very important point, that is how is this floral parts, how are the floral parts arranged on the thalamus? So how, and interestingly, there are certain patterns which we can understand. It's not just random. There are certain patterns which is clearly visible when we carefully look at the arrangement of floral organs or parts around the axis of a flower. So floral symmetry looks at the arrangement of floral organs around the axis of a flower. And here we have a very interesting and very important, and it's divided into three cases. The first one is Actinomorphic, and the symmetry is basically a radial symmetry. So you can see that the floral parts, the arrangement of the floral parts is in such a manner that it can be divided into two equal vertical halves or mirror images in any vertical plane. Note the point that in any vertical plane, it isn't necessary that you should be choosing any one particular type. So actinomorphic or radial means that you can, the floral parts, the arrangement of the floral parts is in such a manner that it's divisible into two equal vertical halves or mirror images in any vertical plane. So that's the meaning of it. And be careful to note the diagram and how we can divide. So it's in any vertical plane. The second one is zygomorphic, and here basically it's only it's a bilateral symmetry. So only a bilateral symmetrical thing is present, which means that unlike what we saw in radial symmetry, the division is possible only through one plane. So it's obviously a case of bilateral symmetry. So division is possible only through one plane. And there are cases in which actually such divisions, such symmetry is not possible. The arrangement is in such a manner that divisions are not seen. I mean, such a division is not possible. And such cases are called acyclic or asymmetric, which basically means that such a bilateral or radial symmetry is simply not seen, which means that such divisions in a particular plane is simply not possible. So that's a case which acyclic or asymmetric floral symmetry. Now, till now in this particular video, we dealt with what are the features. Now let's look at certain examples of which is related to the features. And it's very important as far as the NEET exam is concerned, very important in the examination point of view. So first, we are taking the case of monoecious. And what does monoecious mean? It basically means that both the male and female flowers are there in the same plant. So what are the examples of monoecious plants? You have maize, we have castor, we have the case of the cucurbita. So these are the examples of monoecious plants. What about dioecious? That means it's either male or the female is flower is present in the same plant. That is, both flowers are not there. Either it will be male or female. So dioecious, the examples are date palm. Then we have mulberry. And a very important point to note here is that naturally, if the plant has only male flowers, there will be no fruits, because it's the ovary, and you ought to have the ovary and the ovule to develop into a fruit. And as those parts are not present, obviously male plants has no fruits. And the third, of course, is polygamous, which means that all the three kinds of flowers are present. And a very interesting case, examples are mango and cashew nut. Now, we are also looking at the examples which we mentioned and which we studied as far as the floral symmetry is concerned. It is very important and neat, or very important as far as the examination point of view is concerned. So, first case, Actinomorphic, which obviously is radial symmetry. We have mustard, datura, China rose, and chili. So these are the standard examples as far as actinomorphic floral symmetry is concerned. Going on to zygomorphic, which as we have already discussed, it's dealing with bilateral symmetry. The standard important examples are pea, beans, and gulmohar. So interestingly, zygomorphic can be divided into median zygomorphic and lateral zygomorphic. It's very important. Lateral zygomorphic, we have fumaria. Going on to the third division, as far as floral symmetry is concerned, that is acyclic or asymmetric, which means that we can't divide the floral, the arrangement in any particular planes, and the standard examples are opuntia and canna. Now, in this particular section of the video, there are certain points which are tricky, which means that there's a high chance that one may go wrong. You may miss the points, or you may something like the points may be confusing. So that's what we are looking at this last part of this particular video. So what are the tricky points? First one is dealing with the difference between bract and bracteole. Because they sound the same, there's a chance that one may confuse one with the other. So bract is basically, it's at the base of the flower. Bracteole is it's in the pedestal of the flower, and bract is usually single. whereas bracteole, usually two bracteoles are present. Another such case which can make one go wrong is the difference between stipule and a bract. Now, stipules are seen at the base of the leaf, whereas bracts are seen at the base of the flower. So note that point. Another important point is that stipules are usually seen in pairs. Bracts are usually seen as a single development, and stipules are usually lateral, whereas bracts are anterior.